Well, good Monday morning, guys and gals. It's actually false advertisement. It's not morning anymore. It's actually after lunch. 12:30 to be exact. But I've been up all morning. I have a load on now scheduled last week to pick up this morning and go to Frederick, Maryland. So I got up bright and early, and they said, hey, when you're over here, maybe you can do a little local run for us. We got just a little bit. I'm thankful. This is not complaining. I'm super happy for the work, but I ended up getting almost 6.5 hours, 6.25 hours in, I think. So got up at 4:30, left the house at 5. It's 12:30 now. I use my trailer 90% of the time, but one of their shuttle deals is on their trailer. So while I was loading the Maryland, or while the trailer was in the door to load the Maryland, I was able to drop mine, grab theirs, move it, go pick up some empties right around the corner from their other facility. But it's been a good morning. It's been productive. I feel good about it. Had a great weekend. I am beat, but it was a great weekend at the Mid-America Trucking Show in Louisville, Kentucky. Me and Sugar went down on Thursday morning with my buddy Kurt. I'll try to get some pictures and do better about. I'm getting a lot of feedback from people, and it's all been positive, so I appreciate that. Even if there's things I'm doing wrong, they're communicating with me in a way like, I think you can do better like this. So any of that is welcome. Sugar and a couple of people said you should, when you mention something, maybe show a picture. So I'm going to work on that. I did up my game a little bit. We got wireless mics now. I apologize for the last few videos of me going down the road in this truck. This truck's got straight pipes on it, and it's loud. So I know it's hard to hear me. I hope this really helps. These were not very expensive, but they got a lot of really good reviews that they were the best thing out there for their money, for the buck. And I had to get a few things lined up to make it work. GoPro doesn't just work with a microphone. You got to get a GoPro adapter, and then you got to get another adapter to plug in between it. So anyway, I've ranted about that enough the last couple of videos. But the latest one to me is like we're talking about my son Casey working on his truck, and I should have showed you like a before photograph and after to show how much work he's done on it. So that's something I'm going to try to do better about. And I got to hang out with a lot of cool people, and I'm not just talking about other YouTubers. I got to meet a bunch of new YouTubers that I didn't know. Chad introduced me to a ton. Chad Keegan. If you don't know him, go check out his channel. It's Chad Keegan YouTube. It's very interesting. He's a real down-to-earth guy that does kind of what I'm doing. His life is a certain way, and he films it like that. There's no BS. What you see on the film is what it's like hanging out with him, and that's what I like about him. And we've become very close friends, and there's a lot of good things going on between us as far as we're going to collaborate a little bit video-wise, work-wise, and everything in between. But we hung out with them. Him and Kim are wonderful. Met James and Jessica Pretty down there. Met Wayne from Old Two Stroker. He's a lot of fun. We hung out with him quite a bit on Saturday. I cannot think of his name right now. I'm terrible about it. I heard him talking about a lot of different people, talking to a lot of different people that I didn't recognize. So, and then I saw on a different channel that these people were actually YouTubers. So I'm going to learn more about the other guys that are out there. But Steve Feschek was mentioning it, that there was this guy, there was that guy. I just didn't know who they were. So I'm going to do better researching that. But we saw Bruce Wilson. I didn't talk to him. He was there with his new Scania. Everybody was test driving it and going for rides. I met Tim Gentry. He was very busy. Asked me to give him a call. Told me to get his phone number. And I got it. And I'll message him first probably. I'm trying to do a few things with my sign business. And one of them is individual stickers. There's none in this truck. The cab over's got them. I started putting them on. But the stickers that Chad's been handing out, and I showed on some of my videos. I would like to do for other people and try to make money with my equipment. I've got a very nice, expensive printer that will print and die cut stickers. So hoping to put that to work. So not only I want to get to know these people and be friends with them, I'd like to help them promote their channel by making some stickers for them that they can do. I like to do the trucks, print pictures of the trucks and stuff. So that's a goal. I just ate a sandwich. If I'm acting weird, I'm trying to make sure there's not food in my teeth and stuff. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. I wouldn't even say it was overwhelming. Not in a bad way anyway. It was overwhelming, all the different people I met and how nice everybody was. And Chad was so cool. Every time someone new came up, I met the dirty old trucker, and I met a bunch of guys from the Historical Trucking Society, things like that. I joined actually because I was not a member before, and I'd like to possibly be able to put my truck in that show next year if they would have me. I can't say enough good for Bonnie. Man, she was such a bad dude. I had so much fun. We finally finished her on Wednesday night, about midnight. We were tightening up the exhaust tips because I had to have them. I think I've told you guys this, but we had to have them off to get them in my barn because I'm still working out of a barn with 12-foot doors. And Joe and I were putting those on late Wednesday night, and it didn't go super well. We had the wrong clamps on them, and they didn't stay tight. I looked kind of like an idiot with one of them turned halfway around when I got down there, but fired her up Thursday morning about 6 o'clock, I believe. I turned the bunk heater on at the same time, hoping it would start warming the truck up, which it did. It not only was, she fired right up. It was 28 degrees out. We had snow that night, rain, snow. And again, I'll try to remind myself by saying this to posting pictures of her in the morning. But I had one more coat of paint to put on the vent on that side. I decided last minute that night to grind the scab off the vent because Chad was going to bring me some stainless vent covers to cover up that rust and kind of make her look pretty. And I wanted to be ready for him in case he remembered. He forgot, but that's okay. We're going to get together soon. But I ground it off as we were opening the doors and pulling it outside. So I put a couple of coats of paint on out in the cold, which is not recommended. It ran, but I masked it off real good. And it was just to try to cover the rust up and keep it from continuing to rust. But so I went out, fired her up. Keep saying, yeah, she's a her. Turned the bunk heater on, got out, sprayed one more coat of paint on that, tore the masking paper off, put the ladder away. Went in, and Sugar had a few more loads of things she wanted me to bring out. We had the truck packed because we basically went camping and we just used the sleeper for our bed. So we left the house about 7:45, so we were 15 minutes behind what we had said we wanted to do. And sorry, I gotta check scale. Oh, we got a record coming over on the shoulder. Got a four-wheeler. Doing some evasive movements here. All right, we're back in the right lane. I'm just checking because I don't like going over scales when I have this much weight on. I'm very close to the legal limit. I'm not trying to break the law, but it's hard to get everything perfect. Why go over scales if you don't have to? I'm legal to go in any state or any road I want in this state, and I choose to go on ones that don't have scales open. So, anyway, Bonnie was warming up. We got all the rest of our stuff in there, and we left like just at daybreak, I'd say. Or it was light out, but I had chicken legs burning. So, rolled on down to Benton Harbor, and we met Kurt actually down at JD's truck stop in Lower Michigan there on US 31 exit 3. Yeah, I told him it was exit 5, and it was not. It was exit 3. And we rolled together the rest of the way. No rain all the way down. Couple little spits, and I mean little. There wasn't nothing slowing us down. So the truck stayed clean. We got down there. I'm trying to remember now. About 2:30. Found a parking spot. Waited for his wife to show up, and she took us over. And we kind of wandered around a little and then hung out by Chad's truck most of the time. That was kind of our home base. He let us put our stuff there. Had a couple chairs for us to sit on when we got back, but I'm sure I'll weigh in more about it later as things come back to my memory. But it was just a really great time. I've gone for many other reasons. Usually the free concerts back in my younger days, and to party in my 30s and 40s. And this time it was a network, and it went really well. I'd like to say that I got a ton more subscribers, because that didn't happen. But I got a few, and I've met people that have actually commented on the channel and said they subscribe. So that made me really happy. And every one of them means the same, just as much. One subscriber means just as much to me as if I got 500. I'm happy. I love it. I'm growing, and that's what I want to do. I want to be able to. I ran into one of my friends down there. He actually, it wasn't an accident. We knew he was coming, but he told me at one point, watching my side-by-side video made it like he felt like he didn't have to go by a side-by-side because he got to go with me on that trip. And that's really what I want to do with my channel. I want to make it so if you can't come ride with me, you can come ride with me. You can do it from your living room or your telephone or from your job or wherever you want to be. So, Corey, thanks for that. That really encouraged me to hear you say that. Corey Burgess, he hung out with us on Friday. And then they got a hotel, and they let us use their showers, so that was awesome. Very small truck, stay in, 2 people. We were going to go to a truck stop and get showered, but he was gracious enough to do that and buy us dinner. And then he's got a funny story. Maybe I can get him on here, maybe before I put this video out, so he can tell you what happened to him the next morning in the hotel room with the maid. Him and his wife were there. But anyway, you can about imagine. So Saturday we didn't get to hook back up with him, but backing up Friday, Kurt only stayed for a few hours on Friday, and then they had obligations. But every single day when the show closed at 5 or 6, whatever it was each day, we thought we'd have energy to go out and hang out, go to dinner, meet up with people. I was whooped. She was whooped. We both thought, when one of us was like, oh man, I just want to go back and go to take a nap. The other one was like, yeah, I can stay up for a while. By the time we got into the truck and we ate some food and kind of got comfortable and maybe threw something on the iPad to watch an episode of something or other, like TV or YouTube, 20 minutes, one of us was out like a light, and it was like that every night. So not much of a party life, but we still enjoyed it. We went out to dinner on Saturday night after everyone left. Cracker Barrel. That's some fine dining, you know. And we also got to hit a Waffle House on Sunday before we went home. But Bonnie was very well accepted. I know it's a far stretch to call it a show truck, and I never would. But people were very kind to us. Just coming over, taking pictures, wanting to talk. I met another guy, I think it's Brian Cass. I got to look at my phone, but I'm driving, so I won't do that right now. He's got a beautiful mid-90s K100 with a N14 in it. And he was going to put it in the show with the trailer as a combination, and he ended up showing up a day late, so he didn't get a chance to. But we got together. He came over to my truck. He wanted to take some pictures of my HVAC box and the side box. His was all missing. But he actually bought his truck about 30 miles from where we live, from a cab over guru up by us. He buys and sells them all the time, this guy. Not Brian, but I hope I have that name right. If I have it wrong, I'll try to put it in the text, edit it that way. But other people, I've had people tagging me that other people had went through the parking lot and took pictures of these trucks, and my truck was on it. So I'm honored to have Bonnie worthy enough to be photographed. So the ride home was great. We had some rain. Everything was fine. Everything was great. We had a great time. We had some severe weather at home last night, but it literally missed my house. We didn't even have high winds. But all around us had tornado sirens going on. We kept getting text messages from people. Chad was so great to text to make sure I made it home. They had some real bad storms by him. I'll try to throw a picture. He sent me a picture of a Marathon gas station with a whole awning knocked right over. But by the grace of God, we were safe and nothing happened to any of the trucks. And unfortunately, when you play hard like that, you go 2 weeks straight working on a truck till midnight every night, or trucking and then working on it. And then you leave on Thursday morning and you get home Sunday. It's right back to work this morning. 4:30, my alarm went off. So we got a few more things to do to Bonnie that we didn't know we had to do. And we have some things that we knew were on the list. So that's going to be this week, I think. We're going to try to knock a few more things off it. Our gravel season around here, our weight restrictions went off today for my county that I live in. And I heard the 2 surrounding counties, the last 2 that we were waiting on, I think will be off today as well, according to the maps that I see on Facebook. But we have 2 trucks. I have multiple trucks, so I don't talk about all of them or how many or whatever, but I have more than one. I'm driving the Mistress right now, and I'm headed to Maryland with my reefer on. It's a van load, but I put it in my reefer because it's a spread axle, and I think it's cool. I wouldn't want to do it any other way. But 2 of the other guys are working, doing our summer job, which I'm excited to get to. Normally every summer I haul doubles. We call them Michigan gravel trains. We can run 11 axles here. With my truck and train, I can gross either 164. I think it's 164,000. I want to say 167, but that's a different combination. My son Casey, he can gross 154,000. It's just a different combination of axles. Both are 11 axles. And our short double can gross 145, I believe, 148. I gotta look it up again. But. So 2 of those guys are out hauling crushed concrete today, so that makes me really happy. Makes them really happy because it's like full days of work now. We're coming up winter where we just did whatever we could do to stay alive or go over the road, which is still doing whatever we gotta do to stay alive. And so they're doing what I wish I was doing right now. But this is a customer that's taking care of us all winter long. We're going to take care of them. And maybe when I get back Wednesday or Thursday, I can do a little bit of that. But my goal is to run. I've said it. I don't know if I've said it completely. My goal is to run Bonnie full time this summer with my gravel train to the best of my ability. Now, there might be times she goes down and we'll hook up to her with a Mistress. This truck can do it. It's got a little bit longer wheelbase, but I've been doing it for, my goodness, I don't even know how long I've owned this truck. 11, 12 years. She's longer now. It's the 3rd summer I've had her, and she's 295-inch wheelbase, but I know just enough to get it done. I can get around. It does get tight in a couple of our areas that we load, but for the most part, I make it work. With cab over Bonnie would be so much easier to do that with. Sorry, I'm just going to clear a call off. So I want to know what y'all think. If you keep watching and help me get subscribers, I don't want this channel to only be about Bonnie, but let's be honest, she's the coolest thing I got going right now. So I would love to have people watch and want to see Bonnie on the day-to-day thing. It's going to be a little more difficult to film hauling dirt. We call it hauling dirt or hauling gravel because you're in and out of the truck. I'm not joking. Over 20 times in a 10-hour period. We work for about 12 hours between driving to the job and starting working all day and then driving home. We normally have 11 hours of trucking. But in that 11 hours, you might be in and out of that truck for, I've had some 13 load days, so that's 13 times 2 because every time you get out to unhook, you got to get back into hook up. So that's 26 times. And I have not crawled in and out of a cab over that many times in the day before, let alone 5 days a week, all summer long. But I think I got it in me. You guys can help me and encourage me to keep running her. Comment, like, share, subscribe, turn the bell on, because we're going to keep putting videos out even if nobody watches them, because I'm actually enjoying this. Gives me somebody to talk to. Otherwise, I'm by myself all day and I start talking to myself, and that isn't good. So, but yeah, if we could get a few things done. The hydraulic system was leaking on Bonnie, and we got to reseal it. It's been sitting too long, so we're going to put something better on the thread. A lot of it's pipe thread. Some of it's JIC. Here's the old Jake brake beller. We're going down a hill here. But we can get the hydraulic system sealed up and get water temp gauge working. That's the big one for me. I got one rear end works temp-wise. I got one rear end that don't, one tranny temp that don't, and I got oil temp that don't. But I have to have water temp, and I have to know my fan's going to cycle. So I need to make sure that's working. And then there's some other creature comforts I'd like to work on. But if we can get her to run, if I can run that thing a month, I'm going to spend the money on the air conditioning. It's my AC guy said it needs everything. So it needs the air compressor, or air conditioning compressor, and the HVAC box in the dash, which of course Kenworth does not make anymore. But there's a company in Holland. I'm going to see if they want me to plug them, and if they're willing to work with me on pricing, I will definitely be an advocate of them. I have one of theirs in my truck now, but I've never gotten any discounts, and they are spendy. They're proud of it, but they're the only game in town. They take stainless steel and they copy the factory Kenworth HVAC box, and it's a pretty good product. I'm not gonna lie, I'm happy with it. But it's like $2,100 or $2,200 for that, and Bonnie has to earn that. I'm not gonna take money that we need just to pay bills and buy fuel and pay wages right now to put air conditioning in that truck. However, I will not run all summer without AC. I've got allergies and we work in the dust, so to me it's a necessity, but I'm willing to, I don't know why I say work it a little bit, but I'm willing to make a compromise while it's cooler outside. It's moist. There's not as much dust in the spring, I hope. So that is the hope right now. I'm just still checking on the scales here. I need to know what route to take, if they're going to be open or closed. But so that's talking about her air conditioning. So that won't be set. Got the heat working. Super happy with my buddy Scott. He's the AC guy. Off-road AC if you're in the West Michigan area. He doesn't like to work on trucks. I don't want to like speak for him, but I know he'd rather work on dozers and loaders and things that are meant for off-road. But he does favors for me and takes care of mine. But he knows my trucks, and he's got parts for mine. If he's got to make up a line, he's got stuff on there to do it. But real good guy, honest guy. And I don't know if you ever had AC work done, but it's not cheap. And Scott's always been fair with me, so I gotta give him a shout out there. Anybody wants info from him, hit me up. You should leave me a message on here, or if you know me and you know my info, hit me up that way. But so Bonnie had heat. The cable was broke. We did a little. The cable was fine. The housing was broke where the clamp went on. I thought the whole cable was broke, so I had to take the cable out. I went all over looking for a new cable or somebody that could make me one, and we wasted, I'm sure, time and money. But I got a new control valve, which is the water valve, from the best parts guy in town over at Michigan, Kenworth, Grand Rapids. I don't know if he wants me to mention his name yet, so I'm holding on to that one. He got us the valve. We figured out what was wrong with the cable. We made a fix for it. Basically, we just kind of made our own shield and extended it and clamped it. Scott put it in, and I had heat. I could turn it up and down. I was worried about it because I don't like being too warm when I drive, and I don't like my feet getting cold, so it's kind of a fine balance there. But Heat worked good. All the lights worked good until I drove home and the bumper lights started flickering a little bit. I know what's wrong with it. It's just must be a connector somebody put in it. It's probably got water in it and got corroded. But I'm gonna work on that when I get home. Yeah, she drove like a million bucks. But other than the back, this truck's noisy, and that one's a little more noisy. And Sugar sat so far away from me on that gap over that we had a hard time communicating regularly because she talks real soft and I don't hear super great. So other than that, it drove just as good as this truck, I think. I still had a little bit of an issue with my throttle pedal. There's a huge spot about that much travel before you start getting into the fuel pump again when you shift. So it's a little delayed and it made me a little jerky. And then there's a couple of things I kept feeling like the throttle was catching on something. I thought it was my foot or the pedal at first, but I don't know. There was just some hard spots, and if you push past it, of course, it would, take off. But so that's on my list. But if that happens, I might try to haul a couple loads of dirt this week. That's my goal. I talked to Bruce Mallinson. We've snowmobiled together. He's a good dude. Owns Pittsburgh Power. He's very knowledgeable when it comes to those big cam Cummins. And I knew the stuff because I bought the parts for my old big cam. But when it came apart, somebody didn't pay attention to the way it goes back together. And I don't know without asking. So he gave me a little bit of a heads up on how to get the dual fuel line kit back on, which is one thing that's supposed to add between, I think, 50 to 60 horsepower. But if nothing else, it's just supposed to equalize the fuel pressure in all three heads. And then when that's done, I got to pull the fuel pump gear off the old motor and put that on because it's a 1.5 inches thick, and the factory one that I got is like either a 1/2 inch or 3/4 of an inch. I can't remember the numbers, but more fuel. It needs more fuel. And Bruce said he could turn that back up. When I first ran it before and it was reliable, it was like 500. I called it a 550 because that's what I was running with guys with 550s. So that's my goal if we're going to pull the Super Train with it. They call it, if you're not from Michigan, the Super Train is just, in Michigan they have a 1010, which is 3 axles on the lead, 5 on the pump. 1010, I don't know why, 3 axles and 10 wheels, I don't know. But you're only able to gross 154 in Michigan with that. With a Super Train, it's 4 on the lead and 4 on the pump with a spread on the pump. It gives me 164, so I can haul 5 more tons, and that equals out a lot. It honestly does. I don't want to get into numbers right here in this video, or maybe never on actual numbers, but in reality of it, the more tons you haul, the more money. So that's what I see at Super Train. That's what I mean. I'll also try to post a picture of that. I'm gonna have a lot of pictures to post. So if we can get, I lost my train of thought. Oh, to haul that much weight, I want a little bit more power. So 400, it probably makes 380 if you take the driveline loss out. I'd love to have about 450 or 475 at the wheels. It's not near what this truck makes, but I'm okay with that. The difference in empty weight, which is part of how you make your money. If you weigh too much and you can't haul as many tons gross weight, like this truck probably weighs 25 or 27,000 pounds by itself. I think Bonnie weighs around 18. That difference right there is that many more tons I can put in the trailer, and that's more dollars. So I think the difference of that alone is going to make up for. I may not get as many loads as I could with this in the day, and like Casey gets. Casey's very fast and very good at his job, and if anybody can get 13 loads, it's him or me usually. But I don't drive as fast, and with a slower truck, I might be down to 12 on a big day. But if I can average 10 or 11 every day, the difference in how many more tons I can haul, I will talk about that later once I know what the numbers are. Won't be dollars, but it will be tons. it'll be more than worth it. And to have that cool old truck back on the road again, hopefully it helps grow the channel. I know every time I see a cab over on YouTube, I am right there watching it because that's what I grew up riding in as a kid. And that's what my first driving job was, a cab over. It was Cab Over International, but it was a cab over. So, all right, enough ranting about that. Just wanted to check in, let you know we made it home, let you know I'm heading out, and I'll check in periodically. I don't want to make this video too long, have you guys get bored of me just talking, but I have had a lot of good feedback though about my talking, other than not being able to hear me. So this is my attempt to make it better right here. But yeah, Bonnie was amazing. Drove good, looked good, train horn work. That was the coolest part, because I think it's got a really nice train horn on it. And we did a couple laps around that place like a parade, and everybody got together and we were train horning, and people were doing this, and we were having a ball. So yeah, hopefully I can hang out with those guys a little more. Wayne, we talked about maybe meeting up and doing some racing. He wanted to try to drive my car someday, and I'd love to bring it down and make a couple of hits on his property. I don't know if that'll ever happen. We got to have a pretty flat, smooth surface to run the dragster, the mean one. And I plan on doing some racing and putting those videos on here too, so it won't be only trucking. It's going to be the life, my life. And my life consists of my grandkids, my kids. You can't have the grandkids without the kids, so I had to put them in there. And trucking and racing. So I can't race without trucking. So I got to do a little trucking, and then I'll do a little racing. But anyway, we're going to head on towards Frederick, Maryland with this load. And I'm not going to go real far tonight because, again, I've been up since 4:30. And probably work on last week's videos. I'm trying to do a few more things. I bought a keyboard and a mouse. This is kind of weird to me. And I'm not like non-techie. I know tech and I love technology. But I bought a keyboard and a mouse that will connect to my phone. My phone has the most storage out of anything that I own. And I've been editing on my phone because my iPad doesn't have a lot of storage. But I can plug my phone right into my television in the truck, and I can wirelessly do it anywhere else to my TV. This TV is a little older than here, but I have an HDMI adapter. So I feel like, I'll let you know after I do this tonight, I can have a mouse and a keyboard hooked to my phone, plugged into my TV, and edit videos like I'm looking at a computer screen. That would make things a little easier, because my eyes are 53 years old. And while they're very good compared to most people's, what they have at my age, I guess, not most, but I got good eyes, but they're still not as good as they were 20 years ago. So having a bigger screen would be real nice. So, yeah, I don't really have anything else to add from the weekend. Right now, I'm sure something will come up, but everybody was so nice. I do have things. There was a couple places on the parking lot at the truck lot, and I just want to clarify a couple things. We had some know-it-all truck driver that literally probably should run the nation, as smart as he was. I was kind of commenting, not complaining, because I complained plenty about it earlier, commenting about not having the showers. There were supposed to be showers at the truck parking. It used to be called the TA lot, where all the trucks parked. TA was a sponsor. They brought in showers. I don't know if there was a cost or how much. I never used them, but I was counting on them. And then we got there for Thursday. The truckparkingclub.com, which I know Chad is this affiliate of that and an advocate of them. They were sponsoring the tent where the shuttle ran and picked up and dropped off drivers that were parking where we parked. Excuse me. And that was Thursday. On Friday, it switched, I think, or there was a different sign up, and it said Mud Flat, which is you know what that is, I'm assuming. There is a motor carrier police coming down the ramp. I don't know why I don't like them, but I just don't want to deal with them. I'm gonna let them get ahead of me. Okay, back on track here. So Mudflap took over, and Mudflap had like coffee there for us, and they had, I want to say they had something going on at night. We never made it there because we were too tired at night. But the coffee was delicious. I got to remember the name of that. Maybe I can insert that right here so I can help plug them. But there was no showers. So at first I kind of complained, saying that'd be nice if they would have done something about it or done what they said they were going to do. Because I looked online and it clearly said TA and Petro will be providing showers on site. So I mentioned it on the shuttle bus before the future president, know-it-all truck driver, chimed in and basically was down in Mudflap for not providing showers. And I said, well, it said online TA and Petro was providing them. And he was like, yeah, but that was when they were going to be the sponsor, and they decided not to be the sponsor, so the current sponsor should have took care of that. Whatever. He told us how terrible the show was this year too, because it was so much different than what he would have done it like, and we enjoyed it. Whatever. But anyway, there was no showers on site. Basically, the way I understood it was either TA and Petro pulled out in the, I'm not going to say last minute, but after the website was built, or Mudflap outbid, I don't know. Mudflap was the sponsor, not TA. So Mudflap don't own showers, TA does. They said if they knew about it, they would have brought them, but no one told them they had to. And that's that. I don't really need to say anything else about it. It was a bummer not to have showers. It's a bummer they advertised they were gonna and didn't. At the end of the day, I survived. We found showers. But the coffee was great Friday and Saturday morning. It was really good. It was gourmet coffee. It was like going to get, I don't want to mention other people's names because I got scorned for it at their little kiosk where we were at to get this coffee. I called them another name. I said, this is like going to blank, and they gave me a look that I don't want to see again. So, but I will have to figure out the name of this place and definitely throw something in there, a link or something. I gotta learn how to do that. I don't know how to do any of that stuff yet, but I will figure it out. So yeah, the Mudflap thing was, they did a good job. I have nothing against Mudflap. I don't use them. I'm a member, or I'm signed up, but I don't typically use them just because I have the NASTC card. If you don't know, NASTC is National Association of Small Trucking Companies, something like that. NASTIC. Probably missed something there, but I pay a small fee every year to be part of a big group. So our small trucking company group can be a big group, bigger than even like some of the big companies, and we get buying power that way. So I get a really good discount on fuel, or I do sometimes. When the fuel's doing weird things, guys, they don't have room to give you discounts. They're already trying to compensate for the market. So anyway, I have NASTC, so I don't typically use Mudflap. Mudflap, you got to hook a debit or a credit card to their account. And I have a line of credit with NASTC or Fleet One it's a Fleet One card with NASTC attached to it. So it would just change how we purchase fuel if I went somewhere else on it. But doesn't mean I wouldn't use them if I didn't have that. So yeah, I think that's it. Oh, there was another place for donation only. It made coffee every morning, breakfast, no lunch because everybody was out at the show during the day. But dinner, they cooked, they had a bonfire. I mean, I say it's free. who's going to go eat and not donate? Not me. I'm going to donate because to me, they're out there putting their time in, money in. They're going to get a donation. So hopefully everyone did and they didn't go backwards because that'd be a bummer for those people. But there was a couple tents set up like that where there might have been meals or something like that going on. I didn't see anyone in the other one. There was one that was right by where we were parked. But so a lot of cool stuff there in the show to see. I would have liked to drive Bruce Wilson's Scania. I'm not gonna lie. He doesn't know me and I don't know him, so there's no way I would have ever asked to drive it. But he let a couple of people drive it. Brains just Wayno from old two-stroker. He drove it. I think he let James Pretty drive it. And I know he let Fezcheck drive it because he was standing in line kind of drooling, waiting for the opportunity, which I would have too if I had it. But they were putting like 4 or 5 people in it and driving it around. It was cool because the rear axle lifted. So the wheelbase was like a minivan. It looked like it would get around anywhere. And it's different than what we're used to from our trucks in America, but it was pretty. It looked like it'd be fun to drive. So maybe someday I'll be cool enough to be able to drive it. But a lot of show trucks. And when I say show truck, I just mean those people that either have an unlimited amount of money because they have thousands of trucks and making their pennies on the dollar or whatever they make with their huge fleet. And then they can afford to just dump as much or more into the truck as it costs to buy it. A brand new truck. Most of these trucks, there was a couple people that had trucks that were older and fixed up, which I have a little more draw towards that kind of deal, like an old 359 that looked like a brand new truck. That's pretty cool. A 2024 or 2025 Peterbilt, Kenworth, whatever, with $100,000 or more goodies on it, and a brand new trailer, a cattle trailer that never had a single hoof on the floor of it. And I know what I'm talking about. To me, he shouldn't be in a truck show against a working class combination vehicle. I don't care if they put 50 miles on a year or whatever their minimum is for that show. I just would never. I don't know that I could ever be in a show like that because I don't have that kind of money, and I don't even think it's cool. And I want to do things that I think are cool too. So I would have loved to have seen the guy with the K100 I mentioned. I think his name was Brian. That missed it. Him in it. I don't know that he would have done anything good because he basically was up against a bunch of brand new trucks that never have worked a day in their lives. But there was some there that worked, and I don't know who won or how they judged or any of that stuff. But if you want to go drool at cool things, there was a lot of really cool, over the top, I never thought of you could put on a truck type things. But where I really enjoyed it was walking around the American Historical Trucking Society exhibit that they had in there, where you found an old 80s model Marmon and a 90 K100. And I mean, there was Freightliner. I think there was a Pete. There was Kenworth. There was all the different models or makes of trucks. Some were cab over. They had a sweet, even Sugar like that, a Superliner Mac. It was the most beautiful, nostalgic red, like a light and a dark red paint job on it. That's cool. All that stuff's cool. Steve Darnell had a truck there. I didn't get close enough to see it. He draws a pretty big crowd. And I've met him before and been to his shop, so going to stand in line just to overwhelm him, be one more person to overwhelm him, didn't interest me. But the bummer of the show for me was, there wasn't a lot of trailer manufacturers there, and only Kenworth was there. They had their new W900 that they're going to stop making now. They had an exhibit to promote a truck that they're all done making. They're going to make 1,000 of them. They're going to be like collector's items, I guess. And there's like certain paint jobs you can get, and that's it. It was really cool. But I didn't see Freightliner, International, Volvo, Peterbilt, anybody else there. And no major trailer manufacturers. I love Mack trailers. They make a great trailer. I own a couple sets. And I usually am fortunate enough to get to go to their banquet and those kind of things because of the friends I have that are in the business. And none of that was going on. They had a little thing there, I think, for some people that spend a lot of money with them. I have old trailers of theirs. But the bummer for me, I went there for everything I did, networking and hanging out and having fun and just kind of getting a chance to show off Bonnie. But the one thing I wanted to do that was like part of my business and that I was going there to do some research on was liners for my dump trailers. And there was not one single source for that there. I talked to some trailer people that did have trailers there. No luck. I found in the brochure, Sugar and I looked for a long time, one company that mentioned liners and Quicksilver, which is the brand that the manufacturer that makes Quicksilver was the brand I wanted to look at. See if I could get like a show special or give me a 60 or a 90-day price if I buy a roll or buy enough to do a couple gravel trains. Excuse me. Go to their booth, gone. Saturday morning, weren't even there. Other guys were sitting there and they wouldn't even like give us the time of day. So I'm like, hey, you guys work here? Oh, sorry, no, we're just sitting in here because the booth was empty. They left. So it was just a trailer company, I think, but apparently they weren't interested in anything. And honestly, I would buy somebody local, but I was hoping to get a price break rate from the factory if I could. But that was a bummer for me. Other than that, everything was great. And I'm sure if I call my local dealer, trailer dealer that I deal with, the Mack dealer in town, they will they'll hook me up with somebody or something or whatever. But it's just I've never been in the position that I can go to a truck show and think about buying something significant until this year when we really need liners in so many of our trains that it would have been kind of nice to do. So anyway, that's it. Otherwise, no complaints. Weather was beautiful. We had t-shirts on. Whoops, I lost my mic. Like almost every day. Like just t-shirts. It was like 68 to 75 every day. So, yeah, Esther got to know Kim pretty well. I got to know her decently. She's a super nice lady. If it wasn't for the two of them, Chad would probably had to have been maybe less attentive to his fans because it gave him a chance to go do things that he wanted to do there, and she wasn't just sitting there doing nothing. And the same goes for me. Like, I don't like to just leave Sugar sit and do nothing. I want to keep her involved with what I'm doing. I like having her with me. But if I'm doing something that she just has no interest in, it was nice that she could go sit with Kim, and they got a brand new dog, Sprocket, and just a little puppy, and they were like sitting in the grass when we were watching the trucks go by and all that. So yeah, it was great. It was absolutely great. Like I said, the only thing I didn't enjoy was not being able to find that somebody to actually do what you go to trucking trade shows to do. So I would like to try to go next year, and I would also, if I can pull it off and my truck's worthy of it, and get an invitation to put Bonnie inside, that'd be pretty sweet. I don't know how I'd act, honestly, because I've never been any type of put a truck in a show kind of person. So. But I made it all the way to Ionia, yakking. Anyway, I don't want to yak so long that I just bore you guys to death and annoy you. So I'm going through construction, and it looks like I'm coming to the end of it up here. And we're going to roll down into Ohio, get some fuel, and probably catch the first service plaza I come to that's got parking and call it a day because I'll be down. So that being said, I hope y'all having a wonderful day, and we'll check in either later tonight or first thing in the morning.